Right.
On this installment of Creative Cabin Fever, I am joined for part 2 with Cell Games. So it's a huge privilege to talk to these guys again. We have Tristan over here, and we have Colin over here. Everyone obviously knows about me and Colin and our great friendship.
Absolutely.
Cell Games has been a really, really exciting development in your life and Tristan's lives, and I've been loving watching all the developments since our first interview with your first release. Now we're about to delve into something really original. On the 4th of February, you are releasing a live EP, and that is just mind-bogglingly buzzing because I've seen the videos and I'm like, oh! So before we talk about that, I'd like to talk about how everything has been since our last interview, and we will start with Tristan. Tristan, how have you been since the last interview?
I had COVID in the interim at one stage, but so did everyone. So it's not really news.
Touching wood, still haven't.
That's the real news. We found a person who hasn't had COVID. That's the news.
But it's not really relevant to the band stuff, I suppose. Like,
No,
but, I did. I'm not making it up. Yeah. Music-wise, we had another single out in August as well, and it's as far on the other end of the new metal spectrum as we could have gone, because like Lament Configuration was very guitar-y, and then Relics, the second single, you can't see my hands, I'm doing a distance thing. The other end, Relics was kind of like, when we come to finally do that one live, how little guitar can I play on that? It's so many keyboards and bits, and I was like, it's all going to be on a track, and maybe some of the guitar will be on a track, and it'll be great. But now we're coming into like, oh shit, we have to actually do it live. What do we actually do for some stuff? So that's kind of where we are now, because you can do it now. There was that window in like October where it was like, oh, I wish we were ready to go live because everyone's back now. And then like in December, everything closed again. And I was like, nah, told you anyway. See?
There was no point in being ready because it was never happening. Yeah. And here we are now. I'm like, what? Is this real? Like, does everyone else feel like they're a lamb left out to a field for the first time in their lives? Like they're just like tentatively just
a lamb to the slaughter. Suddenly the eyes of the world are upon us again and we're completely unprepared.
Just so what started?
There's a lot of stuff where it's like spending like 2 years, like, well, initially spending like a month going like, I'll worry about that when COVID's over, and then for like a year and a half being like, I'll figure that out when COVID's over, and now COVID's over and I haven't figured it out. So that's most things though.
Yeah, no, I feel that. It's like for the last 2 years I've been like, I'll just do all these really cool projects and help people, mostly voluntarily, and just see where I land. And now I'm like, who am I and what do I want? It's like,
I better too, god damn it.
Yeah, no, it's weird. And it happens so fast. Like, I mean, whatever about shutting us down so fast for everyone's health or whatever, but reopening everything, like, I mean, most venues haven't even been able to reopen properly yet. Like, that's how fast they went.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely crazy. Do you know what? I think everybody's got caught on the hop, and I think us more so than many, because I think we just had in the back of our heads that, as Tristan said, that this is going to draw on and draw on and draw on and draw on, and whereas we had made, an effort to dip our toe into the, get the live show out with this live EP that's coming up, we didn't really think that this was going to come up so soon. So we were still had in our minds, do you know what, we will be bang up, good to go, live EP, couple of singles when the world opens up. And we were completely caught on the hop again. It's like we've been saying this for years. Sure, Jesus, it'll open up next month, it'll open up next month, it'll open up next month. And then we were like, this may not open up at all, and it opens up next month.
Yeah, no, I think everyone's, especially, a project like yours is special in that two people came up with this idea and started creating the music, and then you're going to have to find, like, the people who embellish the project the best. So that's going to be a search in itself, and they're definitely out there, But yeah, just like that.
just like that. This is it. But you know yourself, Rebecca. Like, I feel like you're a person who benefited and who took advantage of, what people say the new normal. You set up with Viking Promotions, your wonderful creative cabin fever, all of your projects, and really took advantage of being online, being on Zoom, and I think people got really wrapped up in what we can actually do. Like, for a long time, like, we're not using any technology that's brand new. This stuff has been around for a long time, and we're just kind of embracing it. It's been the same with music and stuff. Like, I think that many people could have done for a while is go along making their record or go along making their albums, or your practices, as Tristan said in our original bio, new metal band conducted entirely over Zoom calls. You know what I mean? It's something we could have done but never had the opportunity to do. So I don't know. I feel like it's been a great education for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, we're all looking at this a new way. I find the challenge is getting back to the old way now of as you say, like, getting out and gigging. Like, we were tantalized by not being confined by a lot of things. But then again, especially when we were making the music, like for Lament Configuration and for Relics. But then, of course, like, you need a social media degree to promote anything. You know what I mean? It's not as simple as, like, and myself and Tristan would be from a background where we've been in bands, we've gigged, we've done for years, and it's get out in front of the people, let the people see what you're doing, and hopefully the people will like it. And it's just, you have to completely reinvent how you do it. So, like, whereas I think we really nailed the music creation side of it, you really nailed everything else. You know what I mean? The getting bands out, talking to people, the wonderful projects you have on. We need to channel that Vi Queen energy, and I think we'll be fine.
I don't know. Apparently, 2022 brings us a Vi Queen track, right? Apparently. Apparently. So we might be working in reverse, right?
This is it. But everyone knows you, so you might as well, make that reputation for yourself. And then
I'd like to know who these everyone's are, right? I think you're
very modest.
You're really bigging me up way more than I deserve. But, like, I think it's amazing that you guys decided to do this this project in that time, and that you did so much music-wise. Like, a lot of people I know who are creatives actually chose to do nothing in this moment in time, and I respect that. Like, I spent the last 6-8 weeks being like, I'm so tired from everything I've done the last 2 years. No wonder I've no idea what I want to do next, because I'm like, whoa, So, yeah, I think everyone just needs to... Yeah, and that's the other thing, right? So I'm still very comfortable on Zoom. Like, meet me in a real life situation. Like, I don't remember how to talk to people without a camera on me.
I feel very privileged too, because you never have a problem talking to me. In fact, getting us to stop talking is usually the problem.
Yeah, but you're my friend. It's not like meeting a new person. Or
This is it. We both have equal, I suppose, aspirations on world domination. So we do like to touch base on those every so often.
It's important.
Yeah. Megalomaniac shit.
Yeah. But, like, I love the live EP idea, right? So not many people are doing that in this day and age. Like, and I think it's amazing. Obviously, Tsunami Studios, I'm really familiar with their work. We were there together, in fact. Yeah. But yeah, so it's really exciting. It's coming out on the 4th of February. I've had a preview of beautiful things, and it's actually live with an actual band, not just these two pretending that there's a band, right? So we love that. So talk to me about that process. Obviously, it was there in place of this is never ending, but now it's there as an extra. Wow, this is what the guys can do.
It's like a proof of concept, nearly.
Yeah,
to kind of be like, no, it is an actual band. It's not just like me making my demos and then Colin finishing them. Like, it's actual people in a room. Like, it's not going to be the same people in a room going forward, because the world's open and these people have lives as well, so they can't just show up when we want them to. But I think it's kind of, I saw that Tsunami were kind of heavily pushing us, like, hey, this is the thing we do because no one can play live, and other people kind of like I know a Ghost tribute band goes in there a lot, and they'll use it for promo stuff, and like other people go and like do it like as promo stuff for kind of like for a show reel. But we were like, no, this is our gigs. This is us kind of doing a gig.
Our first ever gig. Oh, and we have it forever now. It's on Spotify for everyone to enjoy. Popping our Cell Games gig virginity. But yeah, it was cool because we got like we had Matthew Redmond, who is the uber talented singer, bass player and songwriter with Kind, who are one of the most sensational bands in Dublin, in my opinion. And we have Damian Dziennik, who is multi-skilled session drummer who has an amazing YouTube and an amazing Instagram social media presence, and he's just fantastic, and he's a dream to work with. And the two guys are just like top class musicians and professionals, and and obviously we know them in real life as well, so we thought if we're gonna put our best foot forward and kind of set the standard for what we want in a live show and in a live experience, we need to get the best musicians that we can too, and we believe that we have two of the very best in Dublin, helping us out with this and adding that extra layer of a little bit of oomph, a little bit of intangible live character that we cannot, for all the attempts, just capture live. I do think that or capture on record. I do think on the record there's a lot of stuff that you can't capture live, and we did a kind of a really good reverse job on that. Like I think with the atmospherics and a lot of just kind of not feeling restrained by what we needed to do, on stage, as Tristan said earlier. We were unrestrained about what we were like, let's throw absolutely everything into these and worry about playing them live next. It kind of worked in our favor, because we were like, right, to play this shit live, we are going to need people who really know what they're doing, and people who are really, on the ball, and, kind of top class professionals, really. And that we were lucky enough to be able to find two of them and put it all together for you guys. 4th of February, by God.
It's delectable. Like it's a very early Valentine's Day present to myself, because the only gift I want is music. So, yeah.
This is it. 4 sexy fuckers on in a sweaty studio. It's all you want from Valentine's Day, darling. Yeah. And that's what we can provide.
Has been gifted to me. And it's about to be gifted to all of you on the 4th of February, like as an IVP, which is amazing. But you're right, you did do it in an unusual way, but a perfect way, because you knew exactly what you wanted the songs to sound like at the end, and then everything else. Well, that's what you sort out, whereas other people kind of start off with a rough version with no real idea of what the finished project will be, and then it's like, so what do we want this? And then a lot of the time when you're doing it that way, the finished thing doesn't sound like the live thing, because you've started with a thing that's completely raw, and you've decided to over polish it to a point where it's barely recognizable and it loses all its essence, whereas with you the essence is in the song, so the live then has to I think it's magic.
Plus, I think as well with Lament Configuration, the version that you will hear on the live EP, it's almost a reassurance to us that these things, like with the effects that we have, computerized, and that's what we laid down, mixed with the energy that you naturally get from the live experience, it all comes together really, really well. Like I prefer. Almost. Well, I'm not saying this just because it's coming out now, but I prefer now to listen to the version of Lament Configuration that is being released next week than to the original, just because it has it has the bang. You know what I mean? Just when Damian's drums kicks in, it's just lovely. We're at the races.
There's so much stuff Damian did as well that I was like, should have programmed it like that. That's better. I don't really understand drum fills and how they work. So I just kind of, I think every drum fill I program is just like, it's the same division on the Greek, going like down the toms to the snare, just going go. And it's like, no, he's got actual drum fills and like cymbals on his drum kit that I haven't paid for yet in Easy Drummer. So there's actual variation. I think he even said that on the new song. He was like, I mean, if you want to use some of those ideas when you're doing it for real, I was like, yeah, I am. I'm going to steal it.
Well, it's not theft now. You've been given carte blanche to just.
He told you could.
Take and will.
Yeah.
Thank
Just
you,
all stuff
Damian.
like a real drummer would do. That I wouldn't think of.
Yeah.
You're just learning a craft you didn't yet know you needed to learn, you know? Upskilling.
That's it. But hopefully I don't need to do it anymore because someone else will do it for us.
This is it, absolutely.
So-
You know, even coming in like the blueprint of Damian playing those and being on screen playing those, we hope will, I won't say it's like inspire, because God, we're so inspiring, but make it a little bit easier for someone a drummer that's potentially listening to our stuff to figure out, maybe visually put everything together and what to do, and for these almost to be guides to the type of musician that we want to get going forward. You know what I mean? Like, we've heard this, and I don't know, can sometimes really heavily programmed stuff being a little bit impenetrable, and a little bit what's the word, intimidating for regular musicians to try like, oh shit, how are we going to play this stuff? This is a bit kind of mad sounding. But I think getting Damian and his scale and the ease of which he played everything, will hopefully make the job a little bit less intimidating, looking for someone who wants to come in and try it out.
And the bass parts are just what I'm playing but lower, so it's grand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyone who's watching this right now and has listened to the boys' current releases and will be paying attention on the 4th of February, obviously, they are looking for a bass player and a drummer.
We are indeed.
Yeah.
And by the way, that intro to Relics, you won't have to play all of that. We can
we can shorten that for the live.
Yeah. We can put some. We can help you out with that. We have pedals and things.
Like, I'm planning on playing very little. Like, it's all going on tracks.
You're not going to need 15 legs to play the intro of that song. So don't worry.
Yeah, so it's such an unusual way to do it, but we've had no choice, So like now you just have to adapt backwardly, retrofit the songs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a great experience. Like, so obviously it is really unusual that your first gig would be a live studio recording. Like, I mean, it's not completely unheard of. I've had a few of those experiences over the last 2 years, but it is true. It's different. I'd say you can't wait to play in front of a room full of people.
Oh, absolutely living for it. Like, I put up a drunk Facebook message there Saturday night. No, actually Friday night, and it's been 2 years and 3 months since my last actual gig. Obviously I've done presenting gigs and stuff with yourself, but actual gig been 2 years and 3 months, and I was like, that is just insane. You know what I mean? Like, we really need to get out there, and I think it'll really benefit us. Like, we've been, I suppose the two of us have been the guts of almost 20 years, well, me 20 years, you the guts of 12, 13 years, playing in bands. And it's not, they say you never ever lose your drive for getting up on that stage and really impressing people, but sometimes it can use a refill. You know what I mean? Because if you gig very often, it does become routine, and even though you love it, it is a routine. But remembering how to do it, how to pace yourself out for a gig, how to like I will say, get yourself into gig shape, as in doing cardio and stuff like that, and it might sound silly to some people listening, but for like, I'm at the other side of 35 now, so I do need to kind of keep my cardio kind of going to do like really, really full on gigs. And I found that out myself and Tristan. We worked as a Linkin Park cover band called Phoenix Park. We did gigs for kind of mental health, and down in Fibbers were very successful. But like, when we moved the set on to the the kind of the feature length set, I really figured out that I am no longer the Colin of old, as in we just played for an hour and a half. By God, I'm ready to do it all over again. I wish to God we could.
Let's do this for 6 weeks.
Yeah. Next tour we're supporting ourselves, because I'm up for this. Who needs somebody else? Let's just do our gig twice. But you can't do that. Like, so for myself personally, it's a real new beginning. Like, and I feel like I'm going to have a real reinvigorated love for getting up on the stage and putting out what we do. And it's a really strong set of stuff that we have as well to do it. And, the fact that people have liked, Lament Configuration, have liked Relics, have been interested in, the Tsunami stuff, makes it easier because, we're coming out and like we'll have a few people who at our first gig will be singing along the song, like in the front row. And that's crazy. And as you said, we are doing this in reverse. Like, record, live show, gig. in that order, like we've flipped the formula, but let's say bring it on.
Yeah, but like there's even right. So we're talking about the new age or whatever. Like, what venues are left? What kind of like promote? Like, this is my other thing. Like, was like I was recently asked, it'll help us get on tour. I was like, oh, what? Like, because now we have to go through the phase of. Well, there's been 2 years of booked gigs that now have to go through the grind, right? Yeah. Then you have to figure out what venues want, where they are, who's going to get priority. Like, it's just, yeah.
And I feel like there's a massive wave of people who, every band in the bloody world are going to want to gig at the exact same time as well. So, there's this kind of swell up at the start. And in a way, I do think that it's lucky that we're not at the very front of that, and the extreme competition of people trying to get, it'll have calmed down a little bit by the time we're gig ready. We're hoping maybe end of April, May. It'll have calmed down a little bit before that. And also, I think people's, invigoration for going to gigs has come back. And I don't think that's going to go away as well. So it's kind of like, I think we'll be hitting it at the right time. Everyone won't be fighting for slots, but I think there'll be a real energy in the crowds. So
absolutely, yeah. I was lucky enough to make it to a few gigs before the change around to be reopened again, and it was amazing to be in a crowd full of sweaty people. Do you know what I mean? Amazing.
We went to Tommy Tiernan's show on the night that they opened up again, and even it was like, since Tommy Tiernan's been on RT, like it's a, you get a bit more of a stuffy crowd, at gigs like that. But everyone was so mad up for it just because it was literally 24 hours after the restrictions had been removed. So like it even brought the stiffy Irish don't enjoy anything and kind of go, giggle at a joke that everyone else is howling at, because I felt like there was a lot of that going on kind of at Irish gigs before the pandemic. I felt like people would go and not really enjoying the gigs and just kind of wait for stuff to be over. You know what I mean? Be there and the band clears out and there'll be a DJ next or something like that. And it's been a struggle to get here, but I think the gig going public will be equally as reinvigorated as musicians, that want to do this. For myself, like I hadn't really gone to many gigs pre-pandemic, and the couple of years pre-pandemic, and my file of facts for the summer is absolutely loaded with bands. Like, we're going to see more bands than we have since we were, kind of early 20s. So that's hopefully that reinvigoration is across the board for people.
How about yourself, Tristan? Any mad gigs planned? Are you also reinvigorated?
There's too much on. Everything that was going to be on for 2 years is all happening at the same time now. So everything's like either like rescheduled or everyone waited until they could and now they can. And like there's some things where it's just 2 gigs on at one time and I have to actually pick now. Whereas before I didn't have to pick anything because there was nothing. And everything got like shoved together. And I'm doing another thing at Fibbers myself the week after next, I think it is. And like I know I'm going to get there and I'm going to be like, it's so loud. There's nothing to that loud. Like I'm so conditioned to like the loudest thing being like when I turn the radio up, like in the car. Like that's as loud as it gets for me now. And even then I'm like, or like I go to like our contacts when I gig and I'm like, they're gonna dry out and scrape my eyes. But like I kind of love that.
Yeah.
Tristan, is your fibrous thing a thing that we're allowed to talk about? Because we can give that an old shout out here too for anyone who's interested.
Oh yeah, I just play bass in a band called Chrononaut, and we haven't gigged yet. So our first thing is the Metal to the Masses in Fibbers. But yeah, it's like we started like, well, I joined anyway before like late 2019, and so like the kind of running joke is like the only band whose first gig is also a reunion gig.
Well, I shall be there. And hopefully some of the listeners of the Fight Queen's wonderful program will be there as well.
It'll be a good litmus test for like how unprepared I actually am. Because even doing the stuff in Tsunami, like I just got there with like my gear. Like even like it took me like twice as long to pack because I was like, what do you bring? How many leads do I need? And I got there, just plonked it down, and I was like, what do I do? Where do I stand? I don't understand. How do you do anything? And I've like all these like 9-volt adapters, and like, where does it go? And then like actually playing it, I was like, because like when you're recording, everything's kind of very clinical and like, okay, like set it up, record, do it once through, play it as it is. And I'm like, I've got all these pedals and I have to remember when to step on them. And Colin's after writing all these parts I have to sing. And I have to multitask.
Listen, we don't multitask, multi-track. That's my motto going forward.
I even said that, like I think Matthew's the one who told me. I was like, I don't know, it's like, can I just like do the bare bones guitar and have like, there's like a big whammy pedal effect going through one of the verses. And Matthew in his very Matthew way was like, I don't know, man. I mean, if people hear a guitar making that noise, they're probably going to want to see a guitar make it. I was like, yeah, fine, I'll do it. I'll switch on the effect even though I'm singing at the same time.
Yeah.
But like before the pandemic, I was very into just like doing as much silly shit in songs as I could. Like half like the Phoenix Park gigs were me just like stepping on things while doing backing vocals.
Yeah, Tristan, it looked like the Lord of the Dance with the pedals at the Linkin Park gig.
And even like I had this whole thing in my head with the live stuff, tracking things. I was like, everything's going to be on tracks. It's fine. I don't have to worry about it. And then I come to it and I'm like, I have put a lot of sounds in these guitars. And I was like, I'll just bring just this pedal. I was like, oh, well, yeah, and just this. And I was like, back where I was. I'm just back here looking around a big hard case of pedals.
I think we've all gone soft, you know. Like, the running joke with me, Tristan, like, I don't know if you know this, but I always made a pact that so I wouldn't get bored of gigs after working so many gigs, that I would go to one gig by myself every 5 weeks, and it would be something that I really wanted to do. But I would be by myself, so I would meet my friends beforehand and I would talk to them afterwards. Did I ever imagine that dream would be 2 years of my life as a live stream coordinator in empty venues all around the country?
You got your wish. You got your wish and then some.
So now I'm not really sure how I fare in a room full of people.
I suppose you've established, you know, you're like, right, do I love music enough that I could just go to gigs on my own for 2 years straight? You proved you do, and you're still here to tell the tale.
But yeah, it's the same, really. It's like, and then you just forget how to use the equipment, and you're just like, everything. Yeah, it's too noisy. It's like, dirty. Like,
could you imagine if you were just, I never want to hear another song again, and you were right now promoting UFC fights in Waterford or something like that?
Now, I do have a great reinvention rate, right? And I'm not saying that's impossible to be the next thing, right? We're kind of thinking maybe politics is on the card at some point.
Well, I'm telling you, you can most certainly voice your opinion in a tremendously persuasive way. And from my dealings with you, I know that you're not a horrible corrupt fucker. This is where Tristan, you should have worn the, you know, your what is your
it's fuck Fianna Gael and fuck Fianna Fáil, but the font is two fonts at once, so it's legible.
Nice. Speaking of t-shirts, speaking of t-shirts, I love your Dead Cult t-shirt. I have one too. They're lovely. So shout out to Evan Pendergast and his amazing promotion company. Really cool drummer. He helped with the live stream for the last Vinci. He was our sub-in drummer. in Cypress
Really?
Avenue.
Very
Yeah,
interesting. Very interesting.
But he's
And
very
correct-
far away from us, unfortunately.
he is. He's far away from you. He's not too far from me. I think you guys are equidistant from me. So I've got Cork life and Dublin life. I'm just slotted in the middle there in Waterford.
There you go. You're the fulcrum of this enterprise, of this community, dear. You're right in the middle, and we move around you, by God.
And your t-shirt is also incredible.
Yes, very nice, very evil. Yes, that's shout out to Danhausen. No, I'm kidding.
Danhausen.
He did wish me a happy Christmas, thanks to Tristan. So no, I suppose hi.
Send him a cameo back, I don't know.
This is
Did you do that?
hey, this is our cameo, and obviously the remuneration will have to be discussed. But here you go, Danhausen. Happy January.
Happy January. Well done. And obviously, anyone who's watching, the guys are going to be releasing a live EP, and it's super exciting. On the 4th of February, all of the Tsunami Studios EP will be out there live, beautiful, with a full band. And as we were saying, it was their first ever live gig. It is such a weird time to be alive, dudes, right?
It is. And the two songs are Lament Configuration, which was our very, very first single, and a brand new song called Filthyweight, which was one of the first songs that we worked on, but it completely changed shape over the course of the pandemic. And it's actually it's about me being terrified of the face huggers in Aliens, but also, being terrified of being alive sometimes. So it's a really good one, so check it out.
But that's things. Yeah, it does rock. And I love that Cell Games is so full of pop culture knowledge that is also transmutable to everyday life. Like, because
100%, yeah.
everyone is scared of those H.R. Geiger beauties. But
I still have
life itself is also terrifying.
My partner, one of the things he says to me the most is, they're not real, right? And I was like, yeah, but they're based on real things. Like, there's a certain variety of crab that the old face huggers are based on, and I'm just like, I'm not comfortable with sharing a planet with a creature like that. So
I weirdly have way too many tangible connections to Alien the film, but one of the ones I will mention for this, right, is every year for about 10 years as a pilgrimage, I went to the H.R. Geiger Museum.
Really? Wow.
Yes, it's in Gruyere in Switzerland, and I would go all the time, and you could see him in his workshop working away, toiling away until he passed away, which tragic death, fell down the stairs, and that's just weird. But I remember watching the documentary of how he actually combined all those existing sea creatures into creating this existing alien from his dream space, because that's what was happening. He was having these lucid dreams where he was actually envisaging extraterrestrial planets, and that was the closest he could come to is recreating the facehuggers he had seen in his lucid dreams, right?
Dreams, yes.
While using things that actually exist on Earth. So it's not real. That's all I have.
But for the purpose of this song, it's very real. Okay, so listen, I'm like Alice Cooper. I'm over here. Welcome to my nightmare. But it is for if you don't share a crippling fear of fictional creatures like I do, there's a lot of kind of cultural stuff to do with the pandemic, and to do with if people who have anxiety who have had anxiety about getting kind of back into the real world, getting back into life, and getting back into it was very difficult to be on your own in a room for so long, but it's also difficult to not be in a room on your own, kind of with all of these new expectations. And even now, it's kind of the expectation to just immediately snap back to where you were. It's very, to be very suffocating, than just like a little fucker on your head.
I feel every bit of that song.
Yeah.
What's even surprising for me in terms of just going back, it's not massively relevant, but you're talking about kind of like the kind of shock of going back to the way things were. And like I was going to Tesco every week and doing the shop, and it was fine. And the way it was is like there's always been an up escalator and a down escalator, and the stairs they blocked off, and then I think unblocked them eventually. But they had like since March 2020, like they immediately put in a big clear divider, and it's like you can only go in this side, and if you come down this side, and if you want to use the ATM, go up and around, and that's it. And then I went in last week, and just the big divider was gone, and I was like, don't like it, don't like this. The big divider's gone. Like even though it's like I wouldn't even go that side anyway because it's the wrong set of stairs. But I was like, no, it's too big, it's too weird.
It is though.
You like, but like even, I think they've done away with like, they're kind of saying you don't have to keep 2 meters in the queue.
Yeah.
But everyone's still doing it. You know what I mean? Everyone's kind of like, is it okay to stop? And I was like, I prefer it, to be honest. Like once they don't bring in like, you have to queue outside Centra. Once that doesn't come back, I don't mind keeping 2 meters.
I just if they brought anything back, it would be people not sitting directly beside me on the bus. That would be just fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel pretty uncomfortable all the time now. So, you know.
But you know what? You carry it off like a pro.
That's what Filthyweight's about. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I just sing the bit you tell me to sing. I don't know what the verses are.
This is it. It's like I just said psychobabble crap to Tristan and wrap it up. This is about I don't know, Blade Runner, and it's like, okay, fine, it's going in the song.
Yeah. No, but that is one of the things I like the most about your songs is all the pop culture references and how you bring it into real life. And the sound, I love the sound and the fact that it's just two people who somehow are now going to be a full band because you, bassist and drummer, are out there and you are going to contact my boys and you are going to gig. April or May.
You're going to gig till your footballs off, god damn it. And, oh, by the way, you need to be able to play to a click.
Yeah,
we cannot emphasize that enough.
If we don't play to a click and we start with the tracks and we get to the chorus and the piano's not there because we rushed ahead, it's a disaster, you know?
This is it. And for me, like, it'll be actually interesting for me as well because, you know, if you're kind of if you're in like punky bands, you know, kind of coming through, you record yourself and then you play it faster live. So if we are playing, remember when we were doing the Linkin Park stuff, you were like, no, that's the right speed, kind of. I was like, are you sure it's just not? Maybe it's just a little bit faster. You're like, no, that's the speed to play it. And I was like, are you sure it's not a bit faster on the CD? Like it was just a constant back and forth.
And then Shane the drummer was very adamant that like, no, it's here because he will only play it to a click.
Yeah.
Like even almost to his detriment because they did a cover gig with him like thrown together a few years ago. I think they cover like Paddy's Day for something, and we're going to the set and he's like get like the metronome up on his phone, maybe not even his phone because it was quite a while ago, but he had like his metronome out and he was like, it's like, what tempo are you doing Californication at? I was like, I don't know what tempo Californication is at. I'm just going to start playing.
I do remember at one of those practices though, he did have the song brutally slow, but and that was the only thing. I was like, sure, we're fine, we're grand, you know. Yeah. It's just this slow, and then you're all like, everyone was like, no, speed it up. So technology is not infallible. The technology may be infallible, but the human beings that control it are flawed. So. Coming soon.
And we invented it as well, so it's definitely flawed. Like, absolutely. You know.
Coming soon to a Terminator themed cell game song near you in the very near future. This is it. Do you know what? We should be playing gigs at Forbidden Planet. I think that's the greatest connection we could make. We'd have Comic-Con. Everything that they stock.
Comic-Con gigs in the middle.
Yeah, 100%.
Middle of the stalls. We have like. Okay, now we're going to stop recording this before people steal our ideas. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Actually, remember I had that concept just before the pandemic. I was like, God, we're going to do a band where we do all the music from Pokemon. And we're going to do conventions. And then I think like I had a lot of ideas, and the pandemic was good for stopping some of my too high concept ideas. Like I think the idea like in 2020 was like pop punk Beatles.
Yeah,
The Beatles are like, please me. It's just black and white bun for soup.
That's the truth. That's the truth. But I feel like I'm going to draw the line on ideas anymore, and just figure out that I'm no longer capable of having the greatest idea of all time, because I just the other day watched a video by a band called the Cybertronic Spree, who are a band who cover 80s metal songs,
Okay.
while dressed in styrofoam Transformers costumes, which is an amazing
feat in itself. Like the dexterity, like how do you...
They got a new member who is the Transformer Ultra Magnus, but he has streamers coming out of his robot arms, and like they've fashioned his helmet into a hat, and he's like ultra macho. And I will never ever have an idea that ticks so many boxes as the love child of Ultra Magnus and Macho Man Randy Savage singing fucking Dockin'. Like, it's just the perfect gumbo. Recipes are finished, ideas are finished. Society's just gonna have to move on because we're not having that.
Wow. I usually ideas come to me. It hasn't happened in a while, and now I feel like I might be on the same buzz as you. Maybe I've exhausted them all.
Do you know what? You need to be surrounding yourself with people who talk utter shite but are always on the lookout for a marketable idea.
Yeah, no, look, I'm definitely coming up next weekend and we're definitely hanging out. Like, I need to...
Who knows what we'll achieve?
It's us. So many wonderful things have come out of nothingness, right?
This is it. And Kozak the Bear's appearance is he just peers up from behind the couch with a notebook.
Yeah.
This is it.
And then the ideas are gone, right?
Then what the hell? Transmission TV.
What the hell?
This is it. Ultra macho and the new co-host of Transmission TV. Anyway.
Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to have this catch up and have you on the show.
Absolutely.
Hopefully all the viewers have at least had an incredible amount of giggles along with us, because I've had the best time and I can't wait to see you soon. But what date is it coming out?
1st of February on YouTube at 6. The video for Lament Configuration is coming out. Because we thought we'd do that first because it's the least new thing. Like it's Lament Configuration, but it's almost kind of how we wrote it, because we wrote it very much kind of, it has to be playable live, and then we couldn't play it live for 2 years. So that's the first thing on the 1st. And then on the 4th, which is a Friday, Filthyweight is coming out on YouTube at the same time at 6. But then that day on Spotify, because you can't select the time on Spotify, it's the day or it's not. They're both going up on Spotify then as a live EP. But so it's kind of important to get the video element first, because that's kind of, it's live. It's part of it. But you can't watch that in the car, you know.
Although I do have to say the crew at Tsunami did an unbelievable job on the production of it, and we were horrendously nitpicky about certain things, because we are horrendously nitpicky about certain things. The guys were so good, and we can't thank them enough. So a shout out to the crew at Tsunami Studios, because they're just unbelievable.
Absolutely, I second that. Tsunami Studios is definitely a brilliant place to go do all your live recordings or any show idea that you might have. They've been brilliant for loads of other projects that we know of or have seen. And the boys, I am so excited for this live EP to come out, and also to see what the future holds for Cell Games.
Join our band. If you're out there, join the band.
I have a bass.
Yes. And you know what?
That's 50% of the requirements.
This is it. Streamlabs and Fibbers.
Thank you guys. I'm going to stop recording now.